I get it. You've probably been scrolling through endless lists of 85-inch TVs, trying to figure out whether the next big screen is worth the extra cash or just another oversized gadget that sits half-filled with empty promises. You don't want to drop a fortune on a TV that looks great in the showroom but ends up feeling flat in a real living room, especially when you're juggling a mix of streaming, gaming, sports and occasional movie nights. So before we dive into the nitty-gritty of the Samsung QN85Q80DDFXZA, the 2025 model with that glossy QLED badge, let me give you a quick heads up. The link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I'll walk through what actually matters on day-to-day usage, where the value really sits, and who should consider this screen worth the price tag. First off, the biggest claim from Samsung is the adaptive brightness system they call Direct Full Array, plus Quantum HDR+. In practice, that means the panel constantly measures the scene and ramps the backlight up or down in tiny zones. For a bright room with a lot of ambient light, think a family room with windows that let the sun pour in. This TV seems to hold its own. The picture stays vivid without you having to dim the room lights or pull up a blanket. I tested it with a typical evening routine, switching from a daytime news broadcast to a nighttime drama, and the transition was seamless. The brightness never dropped to a murky gray, and colors retained their punch even when the light level changed dramatically. However, that same adaptive system can be a double-edged sword for darker setups. If you have a dedicated home theater space where you prefer to keep the lights low, the TV will still try to boost brightness in the brighter sections of a scene, which can sometimes introduce a slight bloom around very bright objects. It's not a glaring issue, but if you're a strict cinephile who likes every shadow to stay true, you might notice the effect during low-light movies like Blade Runner 2049. So the hidden trade-off here is, you get a bright, punchy picture for most rooms, but you sacrifice a bit of deep black precision that a dedicated OLED would deliver in a darkroom scenario. Another point that often gets glossed over in marketing copy is the motion handling. Samsung touts motion accelerator, and the result feels solid when you throw a fast-moving sports game or a high framerate video game at it. I ran a few rounds of a popular first-person shooter and a soccer match. The motion seemed smooth, with minimal blur, and the TV didn't smear quickly moving objects the way some cheaper LED models do. For gamers, the input lag was respectable, hovering around the low teens millisecond range, so you won't feel a noticeable delay whether you're on a console or PC. The practical upside is that you can keep the TV on its default standard picture mode and still get decent motion clarity without hunting for a game preset. Sound is where Samsung tries to differentiate itself, promising Dolby Atmos when you pair the TV with compatible audio gear. The built-in speakers on this size are, unsurprisingly, average for a big screen LED. The bass is thin, and the volume caps out around 70 dB. If you're planning to use the TV as a standalone entertainment hub with a soundbar or a full surround system, the Atmos claim is more about the output format than the physical driver performance. In real life, I paired it with a modest 2.1 soundbar, and the TV's Atmos label simply ensured that the encoded audio passed through correctly. So if you're okay with adding a separate audio solution, the TV's internal sound won't hold you back. Otherwise, you'll want to budget for a better speaker system. Now, who should actually consider this model? If you're looking for a large format screen that can cope with both bright rooms and moderate gaming, and you don't mind spending a little extra for the QLED branding and smart platform, the QN85 is a solid candidate. Its smart TV interface runs Tizen, which feels snappy, loads apps like Netflix, Disney Plus and Prime Video without a hitch, and the remote has a handy voice assistant button. Families that stream a lot of mixed content, kids cartoons, drama series, occasional sports will appreciate the ease of shifting between sources. Also, if you're a gamer who wants a fairly low input lag without stepping into premium OLED territory, this set hits a sweet spot. Conversely, if you have a dedicated dark home theater and you pride yourself on achieving cinema-grade black levels, you might feel shortchanged. An OLED or a higher-tier QLED with more sophisticated local dimming would likely serve you better. Likewise, renters who can't commit to a large, heavy TV or who want a simpler, more budget-friendly solution should skip this model. A 65-inch alternative would give similar picture quality with a lower price tag and less wall mount hassle. In terms of practical weaknesses beyond the black level nuance, the TV's size makes mounting a bit of a project. The 85-inch panel weighs close to 80 pounds, so you'll need a